have what could be significant breaking news in a developing situation from Miami, where the Jaguars and Dolphins are scheduled to kick off just over 2 hours from right now. It involves Tyreek Hill. Adam Schefter, what do we know?
All right, Greeny, a short time ago, police detained Dolphins wide receiver Tyreek Hill on his way into the stadium for what I'm told was a moving violation. He happened to be with his agent, Drew Rosenhaus, at the time, and Drew Rosenhaus says that Tyreek Hill will be playing. But there is the video of Tyreek Hill being led away in handcuffs there with police on the way to the Jaguars game this morning. But again, we emphasize here that his agent, Drew Rosenhaus, has said that Tyreek Hill will play today's game. But this is obviously a very interesting incident on the way to the game today, Greeny.
Yeah, interesting is one word for it. It's stunning. We were talking about Tyreek Hill getting off to an enormous start to his season. Randy, you're projecting a big day for him, and now we are seeing this situation. As we get any more information, obviously we'll bring it along immediately.
You know, we talk about distractions, and this is probably one of the biggest distractions that can happen a couple hours before kickoff right here. You know, I don't know anything, just going off what I'm hearing from Adam and Drew Rosenhaus saying that his client will play today. I just remember being in a situation, being arrested and going into a big game, man. My nerves and my mind was everywhere else. It should have been on football, but it was not. So I'm just hoping today, whatever went wrong just now, everything is going to be all right. If he's playing football, get back to ball.
I hear the word traffic violation, and just from my experiences, I'm told these are assumptions here. We don't know the facts or anything. I've had many teammates commit many traffic violations trying to get to the stadium on time. And that's what happens. And then how do you deal with a police officer that comes up to you and says, you can't do this, you can't do that, get in line. But it's like, hey, I got to get to the locker room. Sometimes things happen.
Well, fans may recall that something perhaps not totally dissimilar happened during the PGA Championship in the world of golf involving Scottie Scheffler. And Jeff Darlington was there covering that, and he is here covering the game with the Dolphins. He's inside the stadium, so not where Tyreek Hill has apparently been arrested. Jeff, what can you tell us?
Well, I can tell you exactly what did happen, Greeny. I've spoken to multiple sources. Tyreek Hill was pulled over for speeding. And once he was pulled over, he did get into a verbal spat with the police officer, who did not like the tone of what Hill was saying. That is at which point he put him in handcuffs. Now, he was later released, and he has been cited for reckless driving. I can also tell you that other players were pulling into the stadium at the same time. They saw what was happening, and they pulled over to try to address the situation. Everybody is now here at the stadium. I am told that Tyreek Hill is at the stadium. He will play in this game, but he has been cited for reckless driving after what I'm described as an altercation with police in a verbal form. He was placed in handcuffs. After that verbal spat with the police officer, he has been released, though, and cited for reckless driving.
All right, Jeff, well done. Startling situation.
That's the whole thing right there. That's the verbal altercation. There are meetings, preseason meetings, regular season about, it's oftentimes that we as players are encountered with law enforcement, okay, whether it's because especially on game day, because we drive a certain way to get to a place, and all of a sudden now there's these cones and everything where we got to get around and we try to rush to get to things.
Right.
So if you're ever encountered, we are always told, respect law enforcement and how you deal with them, especially how you speak to them, because they do take things a little bit. I mean, you mouth off to a cop, and then that's it, okay? And that's the way it should be, I guess, but still, we are told to really have patience with law enforcement and not to do the whole, man, I'm trying to get to the locker room, I play for the Dolphins, get out the way. Hopefully it didn't go like that.
I mean, eerily reminiscent of the Scottie Scheffler incident,
right?
And then I think the difference here is you mentioned it, Randy, like, not only is it just a distraction for him, but we just heard is all his teammates are pulled over. They're all hearing this, like potentially a lot of noise for this entire team. Hopefully, on this note, Tyreek can go out and do what Scottie Scheffler did and was shooting the 60s, the equivalent of that. Maybe he still goes
Scottie
for the 200
Scheffler actually
today.
went to jail on that morning, was released, got to the golf course, only was able to play because the start was delayed because of weather, and still went out and shot around in the 60s, as you were pointing out. So he was able to block it all out. Rex, if you're Mike McDaniel, if you're Tyreek's coach today, the minute he walks in, maybe they've already seen each other, we don't know the exact timing of all of this. What's the first thing you're saying to him?
First thing is you bring him in and you make sure you understand the facts, what those facts are, from Tyreek Hill and things, and you want to make sure that he's in a good place as well. I think that's the biggest thing. And make sure that, hey, look, if he has to sit down, my thoughts are about the person first, the player second.
Where's his mind at?
So you want to make sure that he's okay in a good spot, and hopefully, you know, nobody got injured in this situation or whatever. But that's what you want to see, and then you'll address it. If he is going to play, as we heard he's going to play, then you'll talk, you know, with in front of the team and things. Now we got a game to play, guys. This is all going to be handled, and let's go about doing our job. But it's a lot easier said than done.
He's a competitor, man. I've been around. This guy loves ball. I mean, from shooting horse to playing football on Sundays, this guy loves competing. And I wouldn't be surprised, given everything that's gone on, if he still ends up out there on the field.
He may need to be calmed down. He may need to be calmed down because, I mean, various players are in various headspaces on their way to the stadium. All right? I mean, I've been in times where I'm getting to the stadium and I'm ready to kick some ass. All right, and that's all I'm thinking about, and I'm not really to
You and me both,
and I
Teddy.
am not ready.
Let's go.
And I'm not ready to deal with the cop. Okay, and then you have an altercation with him, and then you don't ever know what else is said. You saw him on the ground, on the ground, being handcuffed. How does he feel about all that? He needs to be calmed down, and that's what Mike
I
McDaniel
talked
needs
about
to do.
the focus of where he's going to be at if he's able to play, and we're getting word that he is going to play. I think you asked Rex Ryan about the head coach Mike McDaniels. It's his job to reel this team back in.